Guys, it's Andy. I'm here to answer the question today: is the Livewire S2 Del Mar a good daily rider? Welcome to MCC Just Motos. So there's my bike, Milrace Blue, got a fender delete kit on there. Before you get an electric motorcycle, a Livewire, they just put something really cool on the website. It's a range calculator, and if you're gonna commute and daily ride on it, you definitely want to check out that range calculator. I did that, and it got to get about 1,000 miles under my belt, a little more, and I can tell you it's really accurate. So if you're within that range calculation where you can do one way and recharge or a round trip, it totally is doable, and it totally makes this a daily rider. What I've been able to find is that you can go about 80 to 90 miles on the freeway if you keep it slow, about 55, 60 miles per hour, or 70, 75 miles an hour if you draft a lot. That's the bottom line on it. And I'm lucky because that is my average commute, about 90 miles round trip. All right, let's hop on, go for a ride. Enough talking. One of the things I wanted to do before I go is just show you, when you turn the bike on, I have an SP Connect. The bike does have navigation. I'm going to turn my Livewire app off for a second and press start. There's a haptic pulse that happens, but you can get to the modes here. And what you notice on navigation is no map data available. You got to turn on Livewire app, so I will do that. Okay, so there's a Livewire app. And half the time the map doesn't appear unless I plug the phone in. But now, unless I actually put a navigation in there, the map will not move. It will only display the last location you opened the Livewire app up. So even though I'm driving around, unless I have navigation selected and actually navigating me, it won't show that it's actually moving. So how I do it, if I don't put a destination in, the actual navigation pane, right, which is right here, you can put a destination in, and every time you open it up, it refresh it, it will refresh where you're at, but it won't actually move unless you have a destination plotted. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, how I do it is I just have Waves open up. Now I usually will drive in regen mode, and it is quiet. You can hear I'm sneaking up on these people. They don't even hear me. Thanks, guys. Alright, so let's talk about the bike a little bit. About 192 pounds of torque at the motor, and I think it's about 704 pounds of mechanical advantage torque at the rear wheel, which is insane. Oh boy. Huh. I don't know why. There we go. 704 pounds of torque at the rear is insane. 80 some horsepower, 84 horse, 82 horse, something like that. So it feels really good. You always have enough power, and the torque will always rip you out of situations. The seat is very, very firm, but those who really go long distance will know that that doesn't mean it's uncomfortable. Firm is actually good for a longer distance. So because it's a very thin seat, oh, something in the way, and we'll talk about that, how easy it is to flick this bike around. Because it's a very thin and firm seat, and narrow and firm seat, it's very comfortable. A lot of leg room. You sit with your in a very much almost a rare sport set, but not quite sport set. A lot of leg room, a lot of beautiful elbow and in room, arm room. It's a natural fit to the handlebar, flat tracker handlebar style, so it feels really good. Mirrors are actually decent, so they point inside. Is how they're supposed to be. You can flip them out, but that's how they're supposed to be. It's kind of a cool little thing, and they are very stable. There's real no vibration noticed in the motorcycle, even at low speeds, high speeds. The vibration is not there, as you can kind of imagine from an electric motorcycle. And that means the mirrors are stable throughout its entire top speed, which is 103 miles per hour, or so they say. What's really interesting about this motorcycle is that it doesn't really run out of gas until upper 90s. It just accelerates and then just kind of slows down a little bit. So a lot of electric motorcycles will kind of slow down when they hit their higher RPMs. This one does not. This has very thick, fat, dual compound tires. I forget the size. I'll put the size up on the screen. What they do though is it's two things. It does add for a lot of cushioning capability when you go over like tar snakes and bumps in the road. Again, this is this Del Mar set up for my weight, so it's actually pretty comfortable. It borders on the firm side of the house for suspension compliance, rebound and dampening, a fully adjustable front and rear. But it is set up for my weight and it feels really, really good. Single Brembo disc in front, and that is very nice stopping power. The rear is a disc as well. I forget the size of it. Again, I'll put that on the screen. I've ridden a few Del Mars. This one actually has some decent rear brake feel, but it's my second it's the second Del Mar I've ridden, and this one definitely has more brake feel than the first one I've really put a lot of miles under. All right, so you see I'm going about 55, 57, 58, 60 miles an hour. There is not much, you can feel wind, but it's very smooth wind. Like, I don't know what they did. This does not have a windscreen, but this little cowling makes the wind very smooth and not buffeting at all, and I really, really like that. So you get the best of both worlds. You get a little bit of wind in your face that you like, but it's very smooth and not buffeting. All right, so the display is beautiful. I like it. It's real simple. There's a couple things I'd like to have. I'd like to have some more information in the screen, such as like temperature of the battery. And you can see it's still listed as 100% and 113 city range. That's really interesting. I don't know why it does that. I wish the range would go down immediately when you ride it, but you'll see you'll go about 5 to 10 miles before the range starts to drop. The left side here has your brights. You will always notice this is not a great way for your lights. You will always hit it with your thumb, but that's okay. It's not terrible. It does have cruise, and I use that a lot when I'm driving this bike. It makes riding really, really nice. And then here's all your different trips and so forth. I will say I like the simplicity of the controls here. I think they're very good. That being said, I think maybe I'm going to try and rotate these a little bit. It's a little hard to get to some of these controls down here, or down here. You have your different modes on the right side. Regen, road, sport, rain, and then custom if you want it. I don't have those yet. And this is all your media right here, your sounds. So this bike is, I think, 428 pounds. I've ridden other electric motorcycles, and this is the most non-electric motorcycle I've ever ridden. I don't know if that makes sense. Meaning that it doesn't feel like I'm on an electric motorcycle so much. Like, I don't remember that I'm on it. It just feels like a great motorcycle. The brakes are good, the handling is sharp. It's really flickable. The throttle control is amazing. It's my favorite throttle control. It's like, you know, the proverbial wired exactly to your brain, and it really feels that way. The center of gravity is neutral. It's not extremely low, it's not extremely high, but you can do complete stops and then right on a stoplight. There is no worrying about it. It is a little bit taller on the inseam. I think a
31-inch inseam, 32-inch inseam, somewhere in there. So it's a little bit taller, but I mean, I get over that pretty easily. So as I'm commuting, it is hard not to really just hooligan this machine. I'll say that. Interesting fact, those that have not ridden an electric bike, there is regen braking, which means when you exactly, if you have it set up for it, which I do right now in regen, when you let off the throttle, it engine brakes and charges the battery. And so it's like someone puts the brakes on for you a little bit, which helps you slow down, which is kind of cool. But it also means that your brake lights turn on when you let off the gas. It's kind of cool that way too. So you don't even have to hit the brakes when your brake lights come on. They will come on when you just let off the gas. Going over bumps, it's always very easy to stand up on this bike. The pegs have knobbies on them, so you can get a lot of good grip on them. I mentioned these big round flat track inspired tires. They're dual compound, harder in the middle for longevity, softer on the side. I love the styling on it, but here's the honest truth. They can be a little bit tricky when you're on the side of the tire. What do I mean is, I've been on the side of the tire, either the front or the back, if it gets a little bit of dust or dirt, can slip out a little bit. And because this bike has so much torque, even if you're in safety mode or whatever, even if you have full traction control on it, if you are on cold tires on a cold day, or you have a little bit of sand or a little bit of dust or something, and you get into a turn from like a cold stop or a slow stop, and you make a right or a left, and then you nail it a little harder than you want, the bike can slide out the rear. And that can be pretty unnerving, even for a seasoned rider. I've been in situations where that has happened, and luckily I did not go down, but I'm not the only one that's happened to. So yeah, that is I think the honest take on these tires is I love them. I love that you can flat track on them, but for a beginner rider, that does, I think, in my opinion, add to a little bit of risk, learning to be cautious on these tires. All right, but it is rewarding because they aren't like a full sport tire, but they are very flickable. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, it seems to be made for roads like this. Very comfortable, and there's a little bit of lip on the rear seat. I really like that because when you get on it, it keeps you from sliding back. Plus, the material of the rear seat is very abrasive. Not abrasive, but like it keeps you in place. Now the styling, like I said, is flat tracker, and it feels like kind of a hooligan brute, and you can absolutely ride it like that. The flip is, if you really ride it like that, your mileage, you're in the 40 mile range if you really ride it like a brute. Again, city, you're going to really extend that range. Back roads like this, fine. There is one secret mode, flat track mode. It takes a lot of the traction control, wheel lift off. That's a lot of fun, but you got to be really, really careful that you don't get yourself in trouble. Again, 704 pounds at the rear wheel. Yeah, that can get you in trouble. So I'll say this bike ergonomically fits me like a glove. This really is the most natural fitting motorcycle I've ever been on, combined with the instant throttle response, great brakes, flickable handling, makes this like the biggest sweetheart of a motorcycle that I've ever ridden. That's really sums it up. Now, range, if you want to commute on this, yes, you can do it. It can be a great daily rider. Oh, I'll tell you about, okay, I have about a 40 mile an hour hybrid. It's a pickup truck, a Ford Maverick. It gets 40 miles a gallon. I'll get about a gallon of gas on my normal ride. That's going to cost me, theoretically $3.50, $3.75, where I just did the same ride today and charged and found out exactly how much it was. It was $1. So it's about 3 to 4 times cheaper on a motorcycle, this electric motorcycle, in per mileage cost, not factory maintenance or anything like that, than a 40 mile per gallon hybrid. So I'll take it. So this brings up another thing. When the bike is stopped, you feel a heartbeat. It like has a, I think the motor rocks back and forth a little bit, and it creates a heartbeat, which is really cool. I'm going. All right, there we go. All right, and if I need to, I can really jam on that throttle to get there. All right, I'm gonna pause there. It's gonna get me on the freeway, and we'll talk about freeway characteristics, but there was the back roads, delightful. Man, is this beautiful out, right? What a great day.
Picking it back up on the highway, I lost a little audio. I apologize about that, but what I can say is this bike is very narrow. While I don't lane split, what I do is I'll use all the lane that I can, and because it's so narrow, you can just scoot right in at the last minute. Very good. And you can see I do that right there. And yeah, picking back up on the highway, it's pretty easy peasy. The brakes are great. You can fall behind, and you'll see this is perfect. I pick it right up back behind one of these little vans, and I just kind of draft a little bit. That gives me a lot better miles that I can go. And yeah, it's just, you know, I don't go super close, but I can draft, and that makes a huge difference for the longevity that I can get on my battery.
All right, I'm reminded, as now I'm in stop and go traffic, about some really neat things about the Livewire. So the Del Mar. So most motorcycles have a engine noise, and that's part of the visceral experience. Part of the visceral experience is the outside noise. Hearing other people drive, hearing your tire noise, hearing the wind is big. I hear people whisper and talking to me. I get a lot of looks on this bike, and I can hear so much. It makes a different riding experience. It has to be, I guess, ridden to be understood, but it's enjoyable. It's different than a motor noise, but it's no less enjoyable, just in a different way. And you get a lot more engagement. People say, is that electric? Is that quiet? Is that a dirt bike? You know, that kind of stuff. Additionally, one of the things I'm going to talk about is the software updates on this. So there are software updates, or sometimes there's updates, whether to fix a bug or just add new features, and they come in via the cellular network. They call them photo, I forget, over the air something, right? So that's really cool. I wish more motorcycle dealers would do that. Basically, the updates will come in. You don't have to bring it to the dealer, and it just fixes everything. Or it updates stuff, right? Add a new ride mode, new feature, boop, comes in over the air, and you just turn the bike on and it does it automatically. So that's really cool. You don't have to load anything from a USB-C. And because this is electric, like almost everything is controlled by the computer on this one. It's not like you're putting a new cam profile in. You're just getting an update electronically, which is so cool. All right, guys, this is the point in my video where I'm the most happy. So I'm about 8.1 miles from home. I did 28, 29. I think I was a mile and a half before I hit the thing, or about a 0.4. Anyway, so about 29 miles, 72%. I guess, was it 30 for 30? So I don't know. Is it 10 miles for every 10%? Maybe, but I think that's a little high. I think it would drop down a little bit more. But why I like this part is because I know I'm only, it says I have 74 miles, but I'm gonna go over to sport mode here, get off my cruise control, and now I'm gonna ride the last few minutes, last 10 minutes, the way I like to ride, which is really sporty, zipping in and around, and using this motorcycle. Because I know I have no range problems. Delayed gratification, right? This bike is it maintains its nimbleness no matter what the speed. That's one of the best parts about this bike. It just rips out of there and maintains its nimbleness at your speed. Alright, one little last corner, tight corner rip. Acceleration brutally smooth and transparent. You really get on it. Man, this was that last bit. Slide to side, so nice. Get on the brakes. No, you can't go too fast. Oh, I love it. Lift that front wheel. Cool.
So there we have it, guys. There is my daily ride on the S2 Del Mar by Livewire. Is it a good daily? Yeah, I think it is. You gotta ride it a little bit differently, basically slower, but you can get that commute. Make sure it works out for you before you buy it. Another thing, it's $15,500, and really almost any Harley, even the basic Nightster or Nightster S, is gonna cost you in that ballpark. I got a $1,000 EV tax credit, so yeah, you know, I'm not buying it to save the environment, even though that's great. That's a great piece. I'm buying it because it's an amazing motorcycle to ride. I can commute on it. It's very comfortable. It's a great daily. It's very inexpensive to operate. I love it.